At SKSA Agricultural Garden, we sell a variety of garden and agricultural supplies and tools both for domestic and commercial use. Whatever your agricultural needs, we've got it. Contact SKSA Agricultural Garden Supplies for all your gardening and agricultural needs. They are located at number 29 Mucurapo Street, San Fernando, and newly opened at lot number 2, Sherwood Park, Canby, Tobago, behind the Performance Auto Building. They are also a distributor and servicing dealer for all still products. Open on weekdays from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. and Saturdays 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. You can contact their San Fernando branch at 657-1338, 460-3117, or 344-9186. And their Tobago branch can be contacted at 280-1223.
Sitaram, and thank you for joining us. You are about to enjoy a satsang by Pandit Keshava Gosine. You can call or WhatsApp Pandit Keshava Gosine at 712-2180. Sitaram, and do enjoy this presentation.
Prem Subalavindravan Bihari Lala Ki Jai. Sitaram everybody, and welcome to our satsang this evening. As we get set to do another discourse taken from our holy scriptures, I invite you now to put your hands together before we get into our conversation this evening, and let's pray to God. Gajananam Bhutaganaadisevitam Kapeta Jambu Palachara Bhakshitam Umasutam Sho Kavinashkarakam Namami Viganeshwara Parapankajam Sarvamangalamangaliye Shive Sarvat Sadhike Sharanye Trayambike Gauri Narayani Namostute. At this time, remember your Guru mantra, remember Guruji, remember the person that gives you Diksha, the mantra in the air, the teacher that guides you in the school, the person that gives you the knowledge to be a better individual. And let's pray to God, asking for blessings for these type of people, but also, dear Lord, let these people work as a conduit for your work, for your words to reach my ears. Help me to improve via these people. Thank you for these people. Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Param Brahma, Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. One more time, everybody. Let's pray together. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Vrindavan Bihari Lal ki Jai. Sitaram again, everybody, if you came in a little after. So far, we've just done our invocation mantras. Let me welcome you to our satsang. This marks our first day, our first session of Gyan Yagna. This afternoon, our text is the Mahabharata, and we're going to listen to a conversation between Yuddishtira and Bhisma. Whenever things happen in a person's life, from time to time, we all need that guidance. We always need a little advice. And when we get to meet in moments like this where we sit down and we come together, we congregate together to talk about the truth about life, truth about ourselves, the message of God, or what we call satsang, these are the type of points that we want to touch on. And we begin in Bhagavad Gita, in chapter 2, and I'm speaking from verse 66 onwards. How can a person, and he's asking Arjun, how can a person truly be happy? For those of you watching me live, send me a message. How can a person truly be happy or know happiness if they are lacking peace of mind? Just as the wind carries, going on to verse 67, just as the wind carries away a boat when it is on the water, even so, the senses, whether it is what you listen to, what you see, what you taste, whatsoever, your senses moving, interrupted, and interfering with different things outside your body, pulls the person's mind all over. The person is taken away, and sometimes the person loses their discrimination, their ability to say what is good or what is bad. Because we're so distracted, we're so bombarded that we cannot make the decision. Oh Arjun, verse 68. That person whose senses are completely restrained, however, that person is said to have a stable mind. Verse 70. Just as the water, let's say the sea, the ocean, receives the water from the river is a swift moving water. It'll push you, it will move you with the current. Just as the river water bleeds into the ocean, on the other hand, is always full. It looks as if it is full on all sides. It remains undisturbed. And likewise, that person who sees the enjoyment, the good, and merges that enjoyment within himself or herself without causing any type of disturbance in the mind, that person is at peace. Technical language. There are some moments in our life when we get so happy, we go up the mountain, and then one day we have to come down. We get so happy again, and then we have to come down. We get so happy again, and then we have to come down. And he's saying it in chapter 5 in Gita as well. He says the person who isn't a slave to these things, it happens, you tend to remain stable. You have equilibrium. He says then the person is a yogi. Then the person is peaceful. Not the person who is only looking for enjoyment. That person who doesn't hanker for that constant fix to be happy, whether the fix could be drugs, the opposite sex, sexual enjoyment, food stuff, being in a crowd. There are some people that cannot stand to be alone or stand to be in a quiet place. They have to have some distraction, something to keep them going. That person, on the other hand, who is giving up all the desires. I need to have a big house, then I'll be happy, Pandit. When the house goes from wood to concrete, then I'll be happy, Pandit. When I get a new car, Pandit, I'll be happy. But somehow, instead of achieving the happiness, Correct me if I'm wrong. We always need something else to be happy. And that is what he's talking about. The person who starts to give up those desires moves free from attachment. If today I eat roti and okra, I'm grateful I have something to eat. If tomorrow I get baigan and roti, I am just as happy. I make do with what I have. The person walks away from the egoism or the need to beat the chest and say, I've done this, I've achieved this, I have this, my son is the best child, I have the most accolades, I have the biggest wallet, whatsoever. In whichever example you understand. Or the thirst for having new things, or the thirst to having enjoyment, that person attains peace. Nowhere in this does it say, or did I read for you to turn vegetarian or to turn a pundit yourself, shave off your head. No, you could do what you are doing, or what you as a mother or a father, but you could do it peacefully. And that's the difference, because we live in today's world, as I'm getting into my discourse. Do you live a peaceful life? In your day-to-day, if you really look at what we do, we are running behind things to achieve happiness, to achieve peacefulness. But do you achieve it? You know, I remember years ago I was doing my degree, and you are taught, when you get your education, you achieve something. You get a degree, and then you realize you can't get a job. You get a job, and that is not the job you want. You get a job you want, then you have to drive or travel far. That is not a job for me. Do you really achieve peace? Are we living peacefulness? All this, does it make sense? Very confusing. So today, we'll spend some time discussing that. And I'm glad that the opportunity has come for us to spend a little time together. As we have recently started in this month of Jyeshtha, we celebrate Lord Krishna as we read Mahabharata. Let's sing for him a little bit before we move forward. Wherever you are, if you're looking at me live, take a second and just listen. Shravanam is that form of bhakti, as we keep talking about, where you don't have to do anything. Listen. Darshanam says, I couldn't reach any temple by Pandit, but I could look at him. I could look at the Murti, look at the light. And just by looking, just by wanting to see this, a person gets the blessing as if they were there. Do you remember your elders growing up? I remember the older ones used to say, I'm going to see the puja. Your mausi, your kaki invite we, are going to hear or listen to the prayers. And the reason for it is, in these forms of bhakti, coming from the Navada Bhakti, or the 9 forms of devotion, just by listening or watching, a person could get the blessing. So wherever you are, even if you're in your job or wherever, let's sing together. Hum it in your mind, and then we'll continue. Rama Krishna Hare Mukunda Murari. Rama Krishna Hare Mukunda Murari. Panduranga Panduranga Rama Krishna Hare. Just for a little bit, just for our discourse today, sing a little bit. Appreciate the peacefulness in your life. And just for a little while, let me try and find that peace inside our hectic, troublesome life. Jai Ram, Shri Ram, Jai Jai Rama. Jai Ram, Shri Ram, Jai Jai Rama. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Rama. Vittala Vittala Panduranga Rama Krishna Hare. Vittala Vittala Panduranga Rama Krishna Hare. Vittala Vittala Panduranga Rama Krishna Hare. Radhe Sham, Radhe Sham, Radha Madhava Radhe Sham, Radhe Sham, Radhe Sham, Radha Madhava Radhe Sham. Sita Ram, Sita Ram, Sita Vallabha Sita Ram. Radha Mukunda Radhe Sham, Radha Mukunda Radhe Sham, Radha Govinda Radhe Sham, Radha Govinda Radhe Sham, Radha Radha Radha, Radha Radha Radha, Radhe Govinda. Vrindavan Govinda, Krishna Mukunda, Krishna Mukunda, Hey na 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 na, oh na 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 na, Radhe Govinda, Radhe Govinda. Rama Krishna Hare, Mukunda Murari. Rama Krishna Hare, Mukunda Murari. Panduranga Panduranga, Rama Krishna Hare. Imagine if you just chant his name and you get his blessings. We are not great singers. We are croaky, achy, breaky, out of timing singers. We know this. Don't dwell on it. Move on. But in making your mistakes, find your God. Panduranga, Panduranga, Rama Krishna Hare. Vrindavan Bihari Lal Ki Jai. Today we enter into Mahabharata as it illustrates what we just said in Bhagavad Gita chapter 2. That our life, our mind, our body, we have to try to control our desires. We have to try to take control of our life and become somewhat like the ocean. That regardless of what is coming, what is going on, what is happening around, that you don't become so reactive and so perturbed that your day could go up and go down and go up and go down based on what is happening around you, or the people around you, or the traffic, or the job, or the children. So basically what our life has become, you are so out of control. Oh my God, Pandit. If the spouse behave good, I will be good. If the road is nice, I will be good. If the food is nice, I will be good. If the sugar read good, I will be good. Then we become like a boat. This is what he's saying in Gita. That is pushed and pulled out of control. Yes, it's my body. Yes, it's my boat. But are we in control of our life? When we are at the mercy of everything outside and everybody outside, is this really our life? And for some of you that have been messaging, and we sometimes discuss it in our Gita class, how does a person attain peace of mind? How do you get peacefulness? How do you come down? Because bad things happen every day. Bad things happen every day. People smile. People put on all forms of makeup to hide the truth. But the truth is, bad things happen to everybody every day. And if we are not careful, a person can take those bad things and go off into depression, go off into rage, go off into lust, delusion, different types of problems. Because you know what, Pandit? Something bad happened to me. And then you blame that bad thing for your reaction. Have you ever caught yourself in that? Imagine, Omkar give me a bad drive on the highway. He did it. And then I start to curse, pump up the steering, run him down like a madman, and want to run him off the road now. Police hold me. Pandit, we expected better from you, you know. Correct me if I'm wrong. But I go stand up and I go say, well, Omkar started. Omkar who do it first. But you know what the law says? Doesn't matter. If you cause harm to somebody, let's say I kill Omkar, cause accident to Omkar, it wouldn't matter. My action now is what I have to answer for. And sometimes it does seem very unfair. But this is what the Hindu teaching speaks about. That bad things happen every day. Likewise, good things happen every day. But when you allow those things that are happening to sway your mind like this, then you're not in control and you're never going to have peace. You're never going to be steady. You're always going to be toppling side to side. Let's get into a discourse that's going to illustrate this a little bit. And it will show how somebody's trying to blame something bad happened. And pay attention, a little tidbit, a little heads up. Pay attention to the blame. For the bad action, the blame. Watch for it. And tell me if this will happen to you sometimes. We're going to learn something here today. Let's enter into the chapter 1 of the Anushang Shanika Parva of the Mahabharata. Chapter 1, Yuddishtira is speaking to Bhisma. Bhisma is like his grandfather. The Mahabharata war is ongoing. But what happened? There's a character that damaged the grandfather. In the battle, this funny battle amongst family, you know, some family just have trouble. The grandfather is on that side and the grandson on this side, and they are against each other. But when the grandfather is damaged, do you remember that story? Have you seen that picture where Bhisma is lying on the bed of arrows and his body is being pierced by the arrows, blood is oozing out, as you could imagine? In that moment, this conversation is going to happen. The soul that is within the body of Bhisma is waiting for appropriate time. Blessed are people like them that they control when they die. They waited. He's waiting for the appropriate time for his soul to leave the body. He wants to go to Vaikuntha. He wants to get mukti, liberation. So in it, the grandson comes, not as an enemy, but as a grandson. And he says, oh, please guide me. Even now, please guide me. Let's hear what happens between Yuddishtira and Bhisma in our short discourse this afternoon, everybody. Narayanaya Krishnaya Paramatmaya Namo Namah. Narayanaya Krishnaya Paramatmaya Namo Namah. Shamo Bahu Vidya Karaha Suksham Uttaha Pita Mahanacha Mrehridaye Shanti Rasyati Shrutuva Dhyata Drishamyaha Narayanaya
Krishnaya Paramatmaya Namo Namah.
Asmanata Bahu Vidyan Shanti Rukta Pitamaha Swakritya Kanu Shantiha Swacha Madhyam Bahu Vidyatapi Narayanaya.
Krishnaya.
Everybody at home, come on, sing along.
Paramatmaye Namo Namah.
Narayanaaya Krishnaya Paramatmaye Namo Namah. Prem se bolo Vrindavan Bihari Lal ki Jai. Yuddishtira is as we go from discourse to discourse and we talk about the character Yuddishtira, here is a very educated person. He's the big brother. He is described as Dharma. He is the person who is supposed to be guided by principle, to lead others. But constantly in text, he shows the vulnerable side. He shows the need for guidance, the need for discussion. For example, when it is Ganesh Utsav and we are listening to Ganesh Puran, the entire Ganesh, the Ganesh Chaturthi discourse, what to do every month. This is where Lord Krishna is speaking to Yuddishtira. You have problems? You have problems? You want to get rid of some of your obstacles, Yuddishtira? Don't be depressed. Do Ganesh worship, for example. Do Ganesh worship and you will be able to attain happiness. Constantly, he is saddened by the behavior of his cousins, the behavior of the family. He wants to walk away from the conflict. He wants to walk away from everything. And even when they were gambling and trying to rob him of his wife and brothers, he was still trying to appease his family. Have you ever seen somebody do that? You're dealing with serpents. You're dealing with enemies. You know they're good for you. And still, maybe a wife could see her husband, but don't worry, they're my cousin in this example. They're my family. What you could do? And you're trying to pacify. And who is the loser? The person who's trying to do the best, trying to do the world of good. Sometimes they're the one who is beaten the most. In this case, our actor today, Yuddishtira, is such a person. He tries to protect his brothers, shield them, shield the cousins, don't react, don't do. And he gets himself by, as the katha goes on, he finds himself in the battle. And for these days that the Mahabharata war went on, Yuddishtira didn't stand as the war went on and get more and more happy. I'm winning. As he saw his kin and his family losing, even if those are on the opposite side, he started to get more and more depressed. Here's a case like that. Bhisma, who was supposed to be impenetrable, he was beating them left and right. He's so knowledgeable. He is the son of Ganga. He's powerful. And there was a character in that battle that he could not fight. And when that person charged Bhisma, he basically put down all the weapons and he took the lash. So now, as we fast forward, Bhisma, as I said, is lying on a bed of arrows. And Yuddishtira comes to look for him. And he says, "Oh grandfather, peace of mind has been described to be subtle, to be of different kinds. I have heard all your discourses, but still I have not achieved, I have not acquired tranquility of mind. I learned so much. I listened to Krishna, I listened to Shiva, I listened to you, I listened to Dronacharya, all the people who know, trying to teach this one guy how to do it. But somehow, I still haven't. Various means of quieting the mind have been described by you, O great person, O Pitamaha, meaning grandfather. But how can peace of mind be acquired from only the knowledge of the different type of tranquility that exists, when I myself have been the bringer of all of this trouble? How to feel good when I am causing the battle? Here we go in, listen. Seeing your body covered with arrows and all the sores. Imagine you're seeing all the arrows and all the puncture marks and the little blood and all these things. I cannot get, oh hero, any peace of mind. I have done this evil. I did this. How to feel calm, cool, happy. How to celebrate. To see you in this. Seeing your body, oh bravest of the brave, covered with blood. Like a hill covered with water from a spring. Meaning how much is running out. I am perishing with grief. Just as how the lotus flower, they sit on the pond, and when plenty rain fall, it is want to push it under with the weight of the water. Just so, I cannot feel like I'm celebrating anything. I don't understand. Am I not supposed to be feeling victorious? What could be more painful than this? For me, oh grandfather, to be reduced to this condition by the people fighting against me as the enemy on the battlefield. The enemy losing is making me feel depressed. The other princes, their sons, their kin, they are being killed because of my account. He's blaming himself for everything. What is more painful than this? What will befall us? What the sons of Dhritarashtra, what will come? Because of faith and anger, it is causing us to do all this hateful action. What will happen next, oh grandfather? I think the sons of Dhritarashtra are very fortunate, because they are not here to see you in this pain. They are not witnessing your body pain. But I, who is the cause of your death, and also the death of all your friends, I am denied the peace of mind because I am seeing you. Now the great warrior Bhisma, without his armor, without his, kanhavar and clothing and all that, he's lying there as he's preparing himself to go to God. He's not studying Yuddishtira, obviously, he's on God. And Yuddishtira is saying, I am causing you to be in this. The wicked Duryodhan, grandfather, the most popular fella in this family with all his wickedness, and his brothers, they are doing their duty. They are the rulers, they are the ones sitting on the throne, and they are protecting the throne. I am the person trying to fight because I am saying my father was the person who was king and I was supposed to take the throne. I'm fighting for property. That wicked man does not see you lying on this ground, and verily for this reason, because I am seeing it and I know I am responsible, it is better I die than you die. Oh hero, you who never walked away from virtue, regardless of how hard it was to do that virtuous act, it is better that my brothers and myself met with death before this had to happen. I would have never seen you in this pitiful condition, so pierced with arrows. In this condition, God, did He create me just to commit evil deeds? Is that all I could do? Everything I touch seems to fall apart. Everything that I'm involving myself in seems to hurt other people. That sound familiar to anybody? If you wish me any good, then instruct me. Before this life leaves your body, do me one last favor. Guide me and teach me and show me how to purge this sin off my body. Because the guilt, the depression, the anxiety is too much. I wish I could have had, or I could have, peace in this life. But At least, if you guide me, maybe in my next life, maybe in my next janam, I will not have to deal with this. Prem Sabala Vrindavan Bihari Lala Ki Jai. When I was researching this and I was reading, I felt as if sometimes this is how we speak. This is how we feel. Definitely when bad things happen to good people. When bad things are happening to your family, you find ways, I shoulda do this and I shoulda do that, and parents blame themselves for everything that happened to the children, or the children do, or the spouse did. We find a way to bring it back to us, in all fairness. Bhisma is getting ready to speak to him. Let's hear what he says in this verse. Everybody, let's join together as we try to listen for our own benefit about peace of mind. Achyutam Keshavam Ramanarayanam, Achyutam Keshavam Ramanarayanam, Krishna Damodaram Vasudevam Hari, Sridharam Madhavam Gopika Vallavam, Sridharam Madhavam Gopika Vallavam, Janaki Nayakam Ramachandra Vaje, Paratantrayam Kantaye Tum Atmananupashyami Asi Karamanam Hitayam Mahabhagya Suksham Mahatej Hridayam Dhantayeyam Achyutam Keshavam Satyabhamadhavam Madhavam Sridharam Radhika Radhitam Indiram Mandiram Chetasa Sundaram Devaki Nandanam Nandajam Sandade Achyutam Keshavam
Krishna Damodaram, Achyutam Keshavam Krishna Damodaram, Sridharam
Madhavam Gopika Vallavam, Gautami Nam Kautanadhya Swara Shama Sanyuktam Sarpadrishtam Swayam Putramaptya Jagachit Chitayam Namaha Achyutam Keshavam
Krishna Damodaram, Achyutam Keshavam Krishna Damodaram, Devaki Nandanam Ramachandra
Bhaje Devaki Nandanam
Ramachandra Bhaje.
Vrindavan Bihari Lala Ki Jai. Bhisma begins to speak. Bhisma begins to speak and he says, "Oh, fortunate one, do you regard your soul, which is dependent to be the cause of the deeds that you conduct? Looking at him, he says, in order for you to understand this, I'll give you it in an illustration, in a story, for you to understand very easy. He said there's a conversation between Mrityu and Gautami. Kal, a hunter, he says, and they dealt with this. And in it, by listening to this discourse, maybe you would be able to understand the reality and you wouldn't be so depressed. He says, O son of Kunti, there was an old woman by the name of Gautami who had great patience and truly peace of mind. One day, that person found her son dead. Dead. On account of being bitten by a serpent. In their household, like a servant, like a worker, there is this person by the name of Arjunaka. He's a gardener, tending to the plants and so on. And when he heard that the son of the home, very close to this person, the boy who died, made it his business to go and find this thing. And he did. Got the animal and tied it with a rope and brought it before the mother Gautami. And he said to her, "This wretched serpent has been the cause of your son's death. Oh blessed lady, oh great mother, tell me quickly how this wretched animal is to be destroyed. Today, I am going to carry out this task. I'm glad to do it. Shall I throw him into the fire? Shall I cut him up in pieces? This infamous killer of people is not going to live anymore." Gautami, without a second thought, "Oh Arjunaka, you who have little understanding, set that serpent free." That was the first thing come from she. Now, as I'm reading this, especially those of you looking on live, those of you watching on repeat on YouTube, those of you looking on Sankhya TV, if this was you, what would you do? Put yourself in this scenario and be honest with yourself. This is what killed your son. Shouldn't it be killed? Gautami says no. It should not be killed by you. Who is so foolish as to not care for the inevitable destiny that awaits you if you do such a thing and you don't realize that he also has to face that destiny for what he did? You're just making yourself more and more heavy, sinking into sin. Why do more things to sink yourself more into sin? Is that going to help you? Think about that. Those who have made themselves light by performing virtuous deeds rise up and rise out of the burden, of the darkness, of the waters of constant good and bad, good and bad, good and bad. Virtuous deeds free such a person, making them light and allow them to ascend to the heavenly regions. And they manage to cross this ocean of worldly existence. But when you do bad deeds, Arjunaka, it causes you to sink like a stone in the ocean of mundane existence. You get trapped in the water. Those who have loaded themselves with sin, they sink to the bottom of the water. Just like an arrow that is shot into the water with force, it goes one way, only downward. That is what happens to people that do bad. Don't you know this? By killing, and I'm asking you this too, by killing the serpent, this boy is not going to get up. By letting it live, no harm will come to you, or no additional burden of karma, bad karma that is, will be added to your load, to your record. Who is going to the house of Yamraj if you kill the snake? Only you. My son is not going to become alive or benefit from doing this type of reaction because something was done, you are doing something back. That is not going to help anybody. Listening to this, the hunter probably feel she going bonkers, she going off she head, she going out of she mind, she's lost in shock. What you talking about? Let's hear what happens with him as he begins to speak to Gautami. जय भोले बाबा तब शरणम, 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 जय सांब सदा शिव तब शरणम, जनम्या हम देवी गुण गुण ज्ञान सर्व पीठ युक्त गुरोवो भवन्ति स्वस्वेये यातम तपदेश भवन्ति तस्मत् शेरा सर्प मेदा हितये शामर्तीनः कलघतिं व्यान्ति स्याद्यः शोचम त्वयर यतायितं झन्ताये श्रियं चाक्षम जय भोले बाबा तब शरणम, जय भोले बाबा तब शरणम, जय भोले बाबा तब शरणम, जय सांब सदा शिव तब शरणम। उमापति महादेव की जय। Arjunaka says, I know, dear lady, the difference between right and wrong. And the great persons, great people are pained by the miseries of other creatures. Listen to this. Tell me, if you and I don't think like this sometimes, that I am a good person, but other people, bad people, this cause me pain. But these words which you have uttered carry instructions for only a self-contained, only a great person could understand that. Only a Mahant, only a Mahatma, maybe a sadhu, maybe a sage could come to your realization, dear lady. But the truth is, for normal people, bad things happen to us, and I didn't cause it. I did not cause the snake to bite the child. Therefore, some accountability must happen. Therefore, and this is his justification, I must kill the snake. Those who value peace of mind attribute everything to the cause of time as the cause. Time is the cause. Time caused this. Another word for time is kala. But practical people soon pacify their grief as time passes. People through intellectual error, fear of loss of their goodness, their happiness, the good things they have. Therefore, oh lady, remove your grief, because he thinks she's in shock and probably talking off her mind, by having this serpent killed. When you kill this serpent, you remove the cause of your pain. This is his point. Gautami says, people like us are never pained. People who have peace of mind are not affected by the actions of other people. Good people, great people, have their souls always bent on doing good things. Something happens, look for the good action. Maybe, for example, between me and you, somebody died. Rather than thinking about retribution, murder, anger, reaction in that way, this is where the person might say, you know what, I want to do the best funeral. Both cases, you're crying. Both cases, you have the emotion, I've lost somebody. That's fine. But what is your next move? Is it, let us focus on doing what is best for the soul, what is best for the person, or you know what, I feel that guy killed the person. That guy caused this. So I immediately pick up arms and I start to be a vigilante like Batman, and I want to go and execute that guy. That is the discourse here. What do you do next? Good people have their soul always bent on doing virtuous action. The death of this boy was predestined. Therefore, I cannot approve of the destruction of the serpent because this happened. It doesn't justify. This is why Hinduism does not believe in holy wars. In other religion, they profess that God wants me to fight, kill, slaughter, damage. Our religion, our God does not teach that. That is not the dharma we follow. As you would hear more as we go. People who cherish peace of mind, Arjunaka, if you really come to this understanding, they don't cherish resentment, because resentment will only lead to pain and more pain. Because if you have the resentment, let's say you're holding that somebody did you wrong or somebody did you something, it is going to cause you to act in a way to get back, to have retribution, and then there are going to be consequences for that. So somebody, Omkar gave me a bad drive, I'm going to run him off the road. Police is going to lock me up, and then for the rest of my life I'm in jail. Pain. My family, the children grow up without a parent. They will go haywire, and it spirals out of control because of one action. Prayerful people always hold to the virtue. May not be the easy thing to do, in all fairness, but this is your guiding light. Do you, oh good person, forgive that snake and set this serpent out because of mercy? You know, in Bhagavad Gita chapter 12, he does say, Arjun, if you want to see my devotee, the person who could forgive. People, just like this serpent, do hinder, harm. There are moments where, yes, people do affect your peace and affect the quality of your life. But the question here, and the constant measurement of you and I, is what do you do in those moments? And in our discourse, we're hearing that virtue is the only avenue for godly people. Let us acquire great and inexhaustible merit in the next world by destroying this Kritya, O Gautami. Arjunaka is talking. This is the gardener. He's saying, as a man gains merit and confers it on his victim too, because by destroying the enemy, I am going to gain blessings. Because he's killed because of the pain of being in the moment, this creature would be now free. He would not get punished. He already gave punishment for the pain he has caused. You should acquire great amount of merit when you carry out this punishment. He's getting confused in protecting somebody rather than being cruel and causing pain. You know, Hinduism, other than the Kshatriya line, does not really advocate offensive type of action, attacking somebody. But we do believe in protecting or defensive type action. In this way, he is saying the opposite. If you destroy the person, the enemy, you are going to get blessings. Gautami says, what good is there in torturing and destroying another person, the enemy if you call them that? What is the good acquired by not setting free your enemy when you are more powerful, when you have gained control? What good could come from not showing compassion to people or being forgiving? Why should we not forgive this serpent and try to acquire merit by setting it free, by being merciful, by being forgiving? Wouldn't that give you merit as well? Arjunaka says, a great number of creatures should be safeguarded against. This is one of them. Instead of this single creature being protected, if you save him, no. The viciousness that is inside of him, he is going to destroy other people. Today it's your son. Tomorrow, other people will die. Gautami says, by killing this serpent, my son will never regain his life. Nor do I see any other end will be attained. Nothing good will come from this animal dying, other than our karma would get worse. Our negative karma will increase. Set this living serpent just as is, set it free. Arjunaka says, no. When Indra fought Yuddishtira, I'll read that discourse for you another day. That is where it explains from the Hindu dharmic explanation for what we call things like the menstrual cycle, why we don't use seawater in puja, etc. Wonderful discourse. When he gained, he was able to make advancement by the blessings of Mahadev. The person, when Daksh was doing his yagna, Lord Shiva disrupted that prayer. And because of it, till today, when people are doing puja, they must worship Shiva. Gains were made. Therefore, kill this serpent forthwith, without any misgivings whatsoever, because it is okay to oppress others. Bhisma says, although repeatedly being urged and urged and urged for forgiveness, the person who really lost their son is trying to get this man to walk away from the destruction of this serpent. Gautami did not bend her mind to sinful deeds, and it was painful to even see the animal in pain, being tied and caught up in that rope. Keeping up your composure when being pressured by other people, being, to sway by the crowd. The person is telling you, don't take that, don't take that, don't allow them to do that. You can't take that one, don't take that insult. Show them what you could do. Sometimes external forces push you to do bad, but here Gautami is standing firm. Even the serpent now wants to speak, and from within the animal, in human voice, he says, "Oh Arjunaka, you are foolish. What is my fault? I have no will of my own as an animal. I work on instinct. If, for the snake, for example, if we drop air conditioner, it's blowing in the temple now. We drop this air conditioner, the biggest, baddest snake here crawl. Did you know that? The animal's body is just as such. If you lower the temperature, the snake will fall asleep. It will stay there and can't move. So the temperature makes a difference. Likewise, in an animal, when it is time to reproduce, they're guided by the season. When it's time to eat, they are guided. Instinctively, something says do. And likewise, he's saying, I did not make a conscious decision to bite. I am not independent. I do not have that consciousness. Death willed me into this work. It is not my fault. By his order, I have bitten the child. I was ordered by Yamraj to bite this individual. Not out of anger, not out of racial difference or prejudice, or my own opinion. Therefore, what sin could I bear in this, O Arjunaka? Arjunaka looks at the snake and says, if you have committed this evil, urged by who? The sin is yours, as you are an instrument to the act. Now that is a little funny, because he don't realize that regardless to his opinion, by killing the snake, he would gain the sin as well. But he doesn't see it so. As in the making of a clay pot, the potter's wheel, the rod, and the other things are considered the causes to make the pot. They are the tools that make the pot. And in the death of the child, you are one of the tools. Maybe somebody sent you to do it. Maybe somebody told you, or the circumstance probed you to do it, but you did it. It is your fangs that bit the child, and the child died, so you are part and parcel of the sin. The serpent says, he who is guilty should be killed by me. O serpent, are you guilty? Then I should confess it, but I confess nothing. The potter's wheel, the rod, and the other things are not independently causing the clay pot to be made. I am not independent. I am not free to think and free to make choice and free to make a decision. I am willed by something in my instinct that caused me to act. This is not my fault, and you know this is true. There's a difference between an animal, and I want you to consider this. Difference between an animal and a human. Does a dog concept in his mind there's God? One of the features of being a human, or a superior being as we say, is the idea that we don't do everything. We are not capable. There's something bigger. There's something beyond you and I. And that is one example of a thought that an animal, our belief is, an animal cannot conceptualize. The snake is saying the same way. If you hold to another belief, then you have to consider who is really at work here. Who is really the cause and the effect? What is the fault of mine? Nor should I be killed on this account. I am not guilty, and I am not supposed to be killed. Nor I am guilty of any sin by association with anybody. Arjunaka, he continues to argue. He continues to, fight with this one. Let's hear what happens. Ya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Shakti Rupena Samstita. Ya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Shakti Rupena Samstita. Namastasye, 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 Namo Namah. Yat Havishi Guyaha Namake Vejwala Khal Rat Jah Napallam Praptyanu Vantatra Palayoge Tataheya. Narayanaya Krishnaya Paramatmaya Namo Namah. Narayanaya Krishnaya Paramatmaya Namo Namah. Tatavruyati tasmrityu pranage mrityu chate tam agham tato mrityuha panga yecha britavetaadyam. Narayanaya Krishnaya, Narayanaya Krishnaya Paramatmaya Namo Namah. Narayanaya Krishnaya Paramatmaye Namo Namah. Shri Vrindavan Bihari Lal Ki Jai. As the serpent is talking, he tells him, if you have puja, the priest comes and he does the sacrifice, he does the puja. But the priest doesn't get any merit in that act. He's doing all the mantras, the ghee is being offered into the fire, the prasad is being offered. All these things are happening step by step by step because of his act, his involvement, but he gets no merit. So too, did I get any sin because of this? I played a part, but it is not my fault. In that moment, Bhisma says, as it was happening, the serpent says, it is because of mrityu, because of death, I played a part. I am not the cause. And whilst the serpent was talking, death comes. And death says, I am not to blame. Yamraj says, it is because of time, O serpent, I sent you on this mission. Neither you nor me is the cause of this child's death. Just as the clouds are driven hither and thither by the wind, even I am moved by time. Everything has a beginning and everything has an end. My job is to oversee the ending of a life. And like that, I am doing my job, O snake, O serpent, then it is not my fault. Time. Everybody is under the influence of sattvic, rajasic, tamasic, gun. And that behavior sometimes causes me to work fast, sometimes it causes me to work slow. In terms of maybe what you eat, how you carry yourself, how you choose, the things you like in this life. Going back to what Gita is saying is sattvic food, tamasic food, rajasic food, for example. All creatures, mobile, immobile, here on earth, in heaven, they are pervaded by the influence of time. O serpent, likewise, I am affected by time. And when I know it is time to act, I have to send a disease, I have to send trouble, I have to send a serpent to bring an end to an individual at that time. He is the person, the sun, the moon, Vishnu, water, wind, all of these things. The person in charge of all the Yagna, all of them have a time. There's a time to do prayer, there's a time to do Lord Shiva prayer, there's a time to do certain type of prayers. There's a time when we're not supposed to build roof, Panchak for example. There's a time to do this, and that time is what is to be blamed here, O serpent, not me. If I am blamed for this, then you are also blamable. The snake turns and he says, I do not, O death, blame you, nor do I set you free from all blame. I am only saying that I was directed and influenced by you, making me the bringer of death for this child. If time is to be blamed, it is not for me to find fault. I don't have the authority to do so. And they went on talking about, as Bhisma says to Yuddishtira, he says, they talked about the role of time, the understanding of time. And Arjunaka is listening. He says, I have heard you, O serpent, as well as the words of Yamraj. O serpent, do not set yourself free from all the blame. Yamraj and you are the cause of this child's death, don't forget it. I regard both of you to be the cause, and I do not call that to be the cause of somebody else. That is the truth. Accursed, wicked and vengeful death, you brought that death to a goodly, innocent individual. And Yamraj says that is true, but we were appointed by somebody else, by the will, by the movement of time. And that is what you're not considering. You are not considering what brings, listen to this part, pleasure and pain into an individual's life. A season of positive, a season of happiness, and then a season of drought, prosperity, and then even death. What controls that coming and going of that alleged happiness in a person's life, oh Hunter? What is causing that movement to go from happy to unhappy? Isn't it the person seems as if they are not in control? Then how can you say that I am the controller? If death is imminent, then medicine wouldn't work. If death is assured, then don't do Om Trambakam Yajamahe. Don't say Lord Shiva, you is the one who could run away, Yamraj, because you can't run in my way. When death comes, there's nothing to stop it. Don't sing your Hanuman Chalisa. Stop saying that from today. Because if I am so powerful, nothing could stop me. He says, but that's not true. If I send an agent to bring about your death, you could protect yourself if you know the right yantra, if you know the mantra, if you wear the gem, if you study the numerology, if you study different things, if you use the prayers, if you use different mantra, a person could ward off the death. For example, the Hanuman Chalisa, the Mrityunjay mantra, etc. Mrityunjay, the one who could control and overcome death. That is what that means. He says, so if I was so all powerful, my dear friend, then I would be unstoppable. But I can't be stopped. That moment can be overcome. I await notice. I wait for somebody to press the button and trigger me to act. And there is somebody above me, and who is that person? Kala, time. Time is the person who says, that person has to die, this person has to born, this person has to be happy, this person, now happiness have to stop, this person have to be healthy, this person, health have to stop, sickness have to start. Somebody is causing that. Think about yourself. If you're watching me live, send me a message. Let me discuss that. Are we really in control of our life? We just think, okay, I'll put on the nice clothes, I'll be happy. I'll have the big house, I'll be happy. But then when you have to clean the house, I don't think you just be happy. When you have to paint the house, oh, that is work. You don't be happy. When the foot start to get achy and you can't climb the step, the same big house is a problem. You don't be happy. What make you happy one day, don't make you happy the next day. It's so funny. He says, Kala, time, is what triggers me. I trigger the messenger. I trigger the means by which that life comes down in. I agree. But I am not in control. I am not all powerful. I am not the greatest entity that exists. There is something bigger than me. His name is Kala, time. Arjunaka, listening to all of them, witnessed the manifestation of Kala. And when Kala, time comes and takes presence, he says, neither Mrityu, death, Yamraj, neither the serpent, neither me, O Arjunaka, is guilty of this. Any kritya that undergoes unhappiness, pain, happiness, greatness, we are not the cause. We are not the source of it. But it is the karma of this child that was causing me to trigger death, that triggered the snake to bring about this moment. There's no other cause than this. It is what caused, listen to it, bad things to happen to good people every day. Every day people say, what did I do wrong? What did I do to inherit this problem? What did I do to have this disappointment? What caused this? This is the moment, he says. This child was killed as a result of the child own karma. It was met with the death as a result of its past deeds. The karma is the root of his destruction. We are all subject to our own karma. Karma could help a person to salvation, to lift a person from all pain, all suffering, and that same karma could impel a person to come and act upon their urge and do bad and cause them to sink, causing pain to another individual. What possesses a man or a woman to do something harmful, hurtful, or injurious in some way to another individual? Their karma, because they are so blinded that they don't see what will happen next. I didn't think on the way beat the girl for boy, now look in jail. I did not think on it. When you went with the next man, you didn't know people would have find out. Upon it, I really didn't think so. You didn't pick up your book and you're surprised you get an F. I didn't think I would have failed. As people make from a lump of clay whatever they wish to make it, so too men and women come in various forms, their body. You know, in some religion we talk about man being made in the image of God. Good. But when you come across leukemia, bald head, erectile dysfunction, sterility, lack of fertility, when you come across people who can't get married, or somebody who is in perpetual debt, a debt hole, or they could never save, or they could never achieve enough to buy a home or to own a house, or any one of these examples and more. Now, let me talk about failures or differences on the body, health, etc. Where was God when the child that couldn't hear, or the child that cannot speak or cannot see? Where was God there? Why? Gerd Puran talks about that, and he says, well, when people use their tongue in their past birth to insult, for example, other people, don't worry, in your next life it ain't gonna work. When you only love to listen to gossip, don't worry, in your next life it ain't gonna work. When you only like to see the gossip and, you know, those type of things, I see Omkar kill the people and it's a lie. Don't worry, in your next life it ain't gonna work. These things, before you make a decision, we are born with the karma on our body. He says to Garud in that text, he says, I will send a message indicating to you what sins you did before. So you're born with these marks on your body. You do nothing yet. And unfortunately, this is why some people starve. There are people under the effects of war. There are people who are perpetually in disease, hardship, famine, etc. because of karma. Even you and I, when we have little problems, big problems. He says, people are formed because of the various results of their karma. As light and shadow are connected with each other, people are related to this karma because of their deeds. The light is here, the shadow will be somewhere. If I block my hand, you'll get a shadow. Likewise, your shadow is the one thing walks with you wherever you're going. Likewise, your karma, it says that when you're going, everybody love everybody. Everybody love. Oh, mommy love you, daddy love you. Dead. Let the life leave your body. And you want to see who's a relative. If relative love you, when the body starts to smell, would they still love you? Gerd Brand says, no, they twist their face and they walk away. When the flames in the cremation start to roar, the best of best families start to pull back. They hold off because of the heat. But the only thing that goes with you in that flame, into the flame and out on the other side, is your karma, your good and bad deeds. Therefore, neither you, Yamraj, neither I, time, neither the snake, nor this Brahman woman, the sadhu lady, is the cause of this child death. He himself caused it. Because of his previous activity, this was destined. Convinced in her mind that men suffer. When I say men, I mean humans. Suffer according to their action, spoke to Arjunaka. Neither Kal, time, nor Mrityu, nor Yamraj, nor the serpent is at the cause here. This child met with death as a result of his own karma. Are you satisfied? I too have acted. I had to be a mother that lost her child. Am I crying? Yes. Am I hurting? Yes, of course. But what is the cause? And this is where, as a Sanatanist, this is where our understanding is a little higher than others. Just as how you have an adult who has a better grasp of a situation, when you listen to people speak in your life, we have to be able to rise above a scenario. And if we don't discuss these things, then what will happen when every time something bad happens in your life, it will push you. It will push you. And it will break you if you are not strong. If you are not able to stand firm in your life, in your beliefs, there will come moments when you are going to be swayed and tottled, and you could be thrown off. The best of the best. It has happened. You test your faith. What do you believe in? What are the tenets of who make you who you are? Forget everybody else. Forget the pundit. Forget the gardener. Forget the snake. You we're talking about. When you believe in certain things. One young pundit asked me, he says, Pundit, you know a lot of mantras. I said, So you read plenty. I said, He said, but it have bad. I said, yes. He said, it have mantras to damage. I said, yes. It have passages, it have stotras, it have prayers, it have that. You use it to defend yourself. It's there. He said, but if somebody kidnapped your loved one or somebody did something to your family, you'd use all that prayers and you'd do it to them. Every day we could find yourself in that situation. Everybody, myself included. But it takes a certain amount of maturity with the blessings of God that when you are tested, you could survive that test. That we are able to control the animalistic side of it and don't just react. Somebody do something, you do them back something. Our faith does not ascribe eye for an eye and that kind of thing. What it says is God is the judge. Let God do your work. We are not supposed to dish out. If somebody did something, I'm going to go for retribution. Understand what I'm saying? There's a role for law. Dharma has its play. But it is not for you and I to make that decision. All that will do, it will add to our karmic load, depending on what we're doing. This child has met with death as a result of his own karma. Therefore, I too am experiencing my karma because of this loss. Let now time, death retire. Let them go. And you too. But let this snake go free. And let us close this conversation. Oh, you foolish boy. And if you could imagine, I like to do my play. You could have seen that like a little play. When I was reading, I was thinking, should we do it like a play? Two people talking. And they're about to separate now. Kal, Bhisma is saying to Yuddishtira, Kal, Mrityu, death, Yamraj, the serpent returned to their respective abode. Gautami became consoled in her mind, focusing on prayers to do the prescribed puja for the child. Having heard all this, forgo all your grief, Yuddishtira. Acquire peace of mind. Men, women, men attain heaven or hell as a result of their karma. This evil is not your doing. It is not Duryodhana's doing. I am here on this bed of arrows because of my own doing. I am experiencing this because of my own karma. How could you tote the burden of my experience because of what you feel you are doing now or what you have done? Don't be foolish. Having heard this, the powerful and pious Yuddishtira became consoled in his mind and again started to question Bhisma. Vrindavan Bihari Lal ki Jai. As we take a pause here, let us enter into pious, goodly, karmic actions. If somebody then says, based on what we've just spoken about, what are these actions? Remember, this is why we pray. When you're looking at your satsang on TV and you're practicing what we call darshana, because you could be looking at other things. But I want to see something religious. For all our viewers on our new partner RVR, those of you in Rio Claro, those of you looking on abroad, those of you in Guyana, all over the world. When you are looking at prayer and you are absorbing and you're practicing this change, this positive, this form of bhakti, this is the karma we're talking about. At this time, please join your hands. Let's chant just a couple of verses in praise of Lord Shiva, Shiv Raksh Stotra. Use the opportunity to pray. For those of you looking on live, pray where you are. Use the opportunity to do something good. And as in the case where Gautami says, positive action has a way of lifting you and letting your body become light and enlightened. Bad activity weighs you down and you become, you know what it is, sometimes when your mood heavy, your aura get heavy and you can't do it. And then sometimes when you're feeling like you have all the energy in the world, you could do it. Which one are you? Looking at yourself now. Judge. Judge. Before we conclude, let's pray together. Hari Om Charitam Deva Devasya Mahadevasya Pavanam Aparam Paramamodharam Chaturvargasya Sadhanam Gauri Vinayako Pitam Panchavaktram Trinitram Shivam Dhyatva Dasabhujam Shivam Raksham Padhe Naraha Gangadhara Shiva Patu Palam Ardhano Shekara Nayana Madan Dwadasi Karno Sarpa Vibhushana Granam Patu Pura Ati Mukham Patu Jagatapati Jivanam Vageshwara Patu Kandharam Shiva Kandhara Shri Kando Patu Me Kandam Skando Vishwa Durangdara. Let my throat be protected by the God with the blessed throat, the blue-throated one. Let my shoulders be protected by the one who removes the ills of this world. Let my arms be protected by the one who lessens the burden. Lessens the burden of this world. Let he who holds the pinak bow protect my hands. Shri Kando Patu Me Kandam Skando Vishwa Durangdhara Bujavo Bhara Samharta Karo Patu Pinak Druk Hridayam Shankara Patu Jataram Girijapati Nabhim Mrityunjay Patu Katim Vyagra Jinambara. Let Shankar Bhagwan protect my heart. Let my belly be protected by the consort of Girija, Girijapati. Let my navel be protected by the one called Mrityunjay, the one who wins over death. Let my waist, the hip, the girdle be protected by that person who wears the tiger skin. Shaktini patu dinarta sharanagata vatsala Uru Maheshwara patu januni jagishwara. Let the Lord who takes mercy on the oppressed, who shows mercy unto oppressed individuals, who is dear to those who call upon him, who surrenders to him, protect all my joints. Let my thighs, my legs, where the pain lives, let it be protected by Mahadev, that great God. The knees, my elbows, my joints again, be protected by the God of this universe. Jange patu jagakarta gulfo patu ganapati charana karna sindhu sarvagani sadashiva. Let my calves be protected by the creator of the world. Let my ankles be protected by the leader of the Gana or the Ganapati. The first Ganapati is Lord Shiva. Let my feet be protected by the Karuna Sindhu or the ocean of mercy. The mercy is so much. Let all my body parts be protected by Sadashiva. When I pray like this, then whatever is coming could be moved. Yetam Shiva Bhalo Pitam Raksham Yashrukuti Parthe Sabhuktva Sakalam Kamam Shiva Sayugma Yamanyuyate Grabhuta Pisachadhya Trelokyapi Charaniye Dura Asopalayanti Shivanabhi Rakshanad. Blessed is the one who listens to this protective prayer, reads this protective prayer which is blessed by the power of Shiva. That person would get all their desires fulfilled by chanting, by listening to this prayer. Attains nearness to Lord Shiva after that, whilst life is within the body. And after that he goes to Shiva. All the planets, Grah, all the ghosts, all the ghouls, those things that travel from world to world, those things have to run away immediately. The grah, the bad things that are carded to happen far, far away due to the protective power of his name, Mahadev, Mahashiva. Blessed is the person who chants it. Prem Sabalo Mahapati Mahadeva Ki Jai. So when you chant prayer like that, that's the purpose. That is the reason and the rationale. Let's just reflect on our Gita before we go. As the waters of different rivers enter into the ocean, which the ocean is already full on all sides, remains undisturbed. Likewise, he in whom all enjoyment comes, merge themselves without causing disturbance. That person remains peaceful and he doesn't run after things to be happy or to become, enjoyed. He who gives up all desires and stop looking for this to become happy, and when I get this, then I'll be happy, moves from a place of attachment to a place of peacefulness. Chapter 2, verse 70-71. What's the option? What's the image? What do we do? How can there be happiness if a person is lacking peace of mind? Peace of mind comes when you understand that we really are not in control, that only good actions can counteract bad actions, that we all are here, Pandit and everybody alike, because we are all sinful people. Truthfully, if I or any other Pandit or any other priest was so great, we would have been with God, trust me. We would have been elevated. But we are here fighting the hot sun and the cold winter breeze just like everybody else. And when you want to be happy, happiness comes with the understanding of the role of karma. And what we have to strive to do is to enjoy good karma. Even when tested, hold to the virtue that I would rise above what the animal inside of you is pushing you to do. The easy thing is to act like an animal, but it may not work out in the long run. You might come with consequences when better thoughts, when a settled mind returns to you. In the emotion, just as the wind carries a boat from side to side in the water, even so, the senses become moved by sense objects. And the one whose mind is attached to those things, he becomes just like a boat. When the day good, he go this way. When the day bad, he go this way. When things are happy, he smile. And then when that smiling, when that joy go, then he has to cry. For the person who understands drugs or alcohol, the person drinks and they drink and they drink and they drink. And more they drink, they have to drink more to catch that happiness, that euphoria. But it is like an illusion because your problems are not going anywhere. At some point you sober up. At some point you come out of it and you go back into despair. Just as the person has to come to the realization that that type of thinking, that type of dependency is not healthy. People do those things in different ways. When the girl is hurt, she has to eat chocolate. When the person is unhappy, they have to do something or go somewhere and they're looking for peace. And what does Sanatan Dharma say? At some point, you have to realize the lesson like Arjunaka. Realize what is really causing the up and down in your life and do virtuous, do goodly things like that prayer we chanted, where you're asking him to take control, to free you from the history that you have accrued, the bad karma, etc., and truly free you in the long run. Today, as we complete this installation, this conversation from Mahabharata, I hope you enjoyed the first part and the reading from Bhagavad Gita. We'll continue tomorrow, and I look forward to having all of you. If you were looking on live, I hope you've left me your comments. For those of you on the YouTube channel, please subscribe and join with us for more satsang. For those of you viewing on Sankhya TV, thank God for support and sponsors that still support us during these hard times business-wise. But may God shower his grace on all sponsors and business people that think it is necessary to push our Dharma, and for the hard work that Omkar and his team are doing to propagate Dharma. God bless them always. Everybody, until we get to meet again in satsang, Prem Sabalo Mahapati Mahadeva Ki Jai. Let's all join our hands as we do final pratna as we conclude our satsang today. Dear Lord, sincerely we want to thank you for this time spent in prayer. May you allow me peace of mind. May you allow me tranquility. And in all the noise and all the jostlings that happen in my day-to-day life, help me to step up to that. Tvameva mata cha pita tvameva bandhu cha sakha tvameva vidya dravinam tvameva sarvam mama Deva Tvameva Sarvam Mama Deva Om Shanti. Everybody, Shanti, Shanti. Prem Sabalo Mahapati Mahadeva Ki Jai. Pavana Sutta Hanuman Ki Jai. Shri Adi Shakti Mata Ki Jai. Vrindavan Bihari Lala Ki Jai. Satya Sanatan Dharma Ki Jai. Siddharam, everybody, till tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Sitaram, and thank you for joining us. That was a very informative and beautiful satsang presented by Pandit Keshava Gosine. You can call or WhatsApp Panditji at 712-2180. Sitaram.
SKSA Agricultural Garden, we sell a variety of garden and agricultural supplies and tools both for domestic and commercial use. Whatever your agricultural needs, we've got it. Contact Bhisma Agricultural Garden Supplies for all your gardening and agricultural needs. They are located at number 29 Mucurapo Street, San Fernando, and newly opened at lot number 2 Sherwood Park, Canby, Tobago, behind the Performance Auto Building. They are also a distributor and servicing dealer for all still products. Open on weekdays from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. and Saturdays 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. You can contact their San Fernando branch at 657-1338, 460-3117, or 344-9186. And their Tobago branch can be contacted at 280-1223.